This is the Inside Data Center podcast. We talk to the people who power the data center sector to give you insider info on everything happening in DC today. Here's your host, Andy Davis.
And we are back at Datacloud. For the Inside Data Center podcast, I'm here with Andy Davis.
I like that we've got a sponsor. I feel even more important than I felt all week. We now have a sponsor, Critical Careers, celebrating women in digital infrastructure, Kao Data.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I am Lizzy McDowell. I am the marketing director for Kao Data.
I am Libby Milne. I'm a project manager at Buro Four.
And we're delighted to be here.
Yeah, but
to talk about critical careers, to celebrate us.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how delighted you are to be here right now. It was a long night last night, shall we say?
Yeah,
But,
day two of a data center conference is,
But we were just absolutely basking in the glory of the launch, weren't we?
That's
we
it,
went
yeah.
big and we went, gotta go for it.
we were
yesterday.
celebrating.
Yeah.
that.
It's
And so you
important
should.
to do that, recognise all that hard work and launching an initiative for the industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
So on that note, let's talk talent.
That's what talent.
What's working and what's not for the industry. Big question to start, but talent has been probably the one theme on every single podcast we've done that everybody's wanted to talk
I
about.
would say you can't do anything without people. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter what. You can say power is more important, but you can't do power without people. So, people is the biggest problem.
Yeah, I think it's funny because it's infrastructure, it's power, it's computing, it's digital. Everything points to the fact that it's not about people, but it is such a people business. And yeah, talent is, if you didn't have the wonderful people that exist, it wouldn't be a thing.
I think it is being recognised more. Personally, from my experience over the last year, I've seen a lot of companies shifting their narrative to be about the people rather than, obviously, their services are their services. This is what we offer. This is what we provide. But there's been so much more promotion of our amazing people and who's in it and who's actually behind what they're offering.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that was really the motivation behind the book. I mean, often you have these top 100 lists, top 10 lists, all that stuff. And I'm not saying that absolutely has a place and that is important, but this is what we wanted Critical Careers to showcase. We wanted the likes of Dame Dawn Childs, but we also wanted to showcase Libby. Libby is an incredible example of talent in this industry, and she deserves the spotlight just as much as Dame Dawn, and I'm sure Dame Dawn would say that, because it's important. Often the talent is hidden, and it's essential to showcase just the variety that exists. So
Without a doubt. Well, let's continue on that theme. Obviously, the launch took place yesterday.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
it went well. Yeah, we're pleased.
What was kind of what was the overarching theme during the launch? Like, what was everybody talking about? I mean,
Well, this is going to undermine it slightly, because I'd say a lot of discussion. It was raining, and it was talking about how do you maintain the frizz from your hair, but
Which is important. So what?
it was very.
I
very important.
think we should. What's the answer? I need to know.
Hairspray, a lot of hairspray. Yeah,
Good.
yeah. You don't need to. Your hair
I'm
looks
glad-
impeccable.
I'm glad we
Andy.
covered that one.
Andy and I needed that yesterday.
But I do think that's a perfect example, because that's supportive, right? It's very supportive. I don't know any other, and I've worked in various industries, which I think a lot of people have, and I don't know any other industry that I feel so connected to these women just by being in this space. And it does, honestly, you do feel like you can say, but seriously, how are you dealing with your hair?
Yeah.
Because this is a nightmare.
Such a supportive environment. I think we've been talking to a lot of women who are coming here for the first time. And what I've enjoyed this year is seeing people who are a bit still more junior. And we've been bonding with them.
Yeah.
We are asking the questions like, what do I wear?
Yeah.
Because they've never been to these environments before. And
And you
it's
feel
a business
safe.
event, but you're in another country and it's boiling. So what shoes am I wearing?
Yeah.
How do I dress? Because
You
let's be real, there's a variety of people. There's a scale.
Yeah. And you don't feel embarrassed
Yeah.
to ask these questions. I mean, I work with a lot of gentlemen, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful men, but they are men, and they're not going to have to battle with when are you washing your hair, have you got blisters on your feet? They don't have to do it, but because we have created this network of people, it's just a wonderful, supportive, inclusive environment.
And community.
100%. Yeah.
Do you think you need that community because there's not enough women in the industry? Is it like, are you coming together to kind of create that momentum, that, you know, like force that says, look, we are here, we are really important, but also we want to welcome more females into the industry?
Yeah, I think so. So I'm seeing more and I'm meeting more, especially through Forum and Women in Data Centers. I've met such an amazing group. But I think quite a few of us suffer from not having women at the top. So you don't necessarily have someone your gender and someone you can relate to in that way that you can go to with your work items. So we're sort of reaching out and now getting that from other companies. And I think it's such a valuable source because it's no disrespect and it's not a gendered thing, but there are things that you would talk to a female mentor about and not a male instead. It's just that relationship that gender can give you.
And it's the same for, like, I think when you talk about any diversity or you talk about age, you do need like-minded people to talk about things with. We're lucky, you know, like I think a lot of middle-aged men like myself, you've always been the norm, you know, so you don't always appreciate it until you have the conversations. And I think that's why it's important that communities like Forum for Women in Data Centers and initiatives like this are done, because it highlights not just, it's not you just doing it or just doing it, it's the wrong thing. So you doing it as a community for yourselves. You're going, look at this. Like, Andy, read my book. You know, this is real challenges in the industry.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting dichotomy, to be honest, because whilst you need community and like-minded people, you also need variety. You need diversity, and I think that is the likes of Forward, the likes of Critical Careers. That is what it is, bringing a range of people who otherwise, would not have experienced this industry, known this industry existed, and it's bringing them in. And I think I listened to it. She's an incredible woman. She's actually featured in our book. She's a lady called Liz Scott, and she runs the Turing Innovation Catalyst in Manchester. And I listened to her, and that's why I'm not going to pass this off as my own, because I'm nowhere near intelligent to say this. And she just said, with diversity, you solve different problems. And unfortunately, yeah, and I'm not being condescending, it has been predominantly white middle-aged men running this industry. And you do need variety, because there you know.
So that's where innovation comes from. Like, again, when you look at careers, it's like people coming into the industry from other sectors, from other industries, have brought real innovation, because we were talking about yesterday, weren't they? They see a problem differently.
Yeah.
So like, why don't you do this?
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really obvious, but you can't see the wood for the trees. You're like, oh, why didn't I think of that? It's really obvious, but you need that diversity of thinking to be able to come in and say, Andy, like, this is what you should be doing there. Try this or try that. And that's what any different diversity
This
brings.
is the type of shoes you need to be wearing. This is the hair product you need
Exactly.
to be
Like, I've learned something about freezing hair today, which I can pass on to my children.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We'd also be liars if we said we weren't having those conversations ourselves.
Well, you know, we weren't having the conversations because we turned up in the same outfit on Tuesday.
I've done all events so far. No, but coming back to that then. So if it's a leader, let's say partly a leadership challenge, partly a mentoring challenge, then how do we make data centers more of a career destination for women?
I think it is connecting. Companies are going to have to accept that they need to go externally to find that support for their junior females coming up through the company. You need to be humble about it and be like, do you know what? Right now, we don't have that. What can we do to get that support and help them with that direction? So you're going to have to outsource. If you don't have it right now, how can you fix it? Because they're going to leave if they don't see that. If they don't see females at the top or can experience females at the top or know them at the top, they can have no idea where they're going, and they're not going to help. They're not going to see themselves there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And that's why, I mean, I'm so proud of Kao Data, to be honest. Like, I'm really blessed. The last year, 56% of our new recruits were female.
Wow.
Which is, that's really, really positive. But that's why we wanted this book. So I think 100%, just to add on to what Libby says, we need to be louder. We need to showcase these opportunities. We're sat here in Cannes. Like, hello? How much more glamorous? And we need to be louder. We need to talk about, this is such a brilliant industry. There is so many supportive women. It's well paid. And that's what we wanted the book to do, because it's a physical thing.
Yeah.
It's a coffee table book. You look at it, it's aspirational. It's luxurious. You're like, oh, I could be that. You can relate to it. You can see yourself in the pages. And that's what we wanted to really showcase with this type of initiative. And I think it's working across the industry as well. It's working with our counterparts. Okay, there are competitors, but so what?
Yeah, it
So
doesn't
what?
matter. You can't have competitors when you're building community. It doesn't
You
work.
can't
It has to be
be a
inclusive.
party of one, you know?
But I think the industry now has accepted that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you've been
100%.
in it a while. Like, it was so anti. Like, you'd run an event, and if the sponsor was Kao Data, no one from any of the other operators is going to be allowed to go. You know,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But whereas now it's like you say, because there's so many challenges around people, they're kind of like, we want you to go and learn. You know, we want you to go there. Not all organisations, but the good ones will encourage whether it's females, young people, whatever it is, whatever demographic, they're like, go to this event, learn. They're
Absolutely.
not worried they're going to lose them to
No.
another competitor.
We grow together. You know, you can't just have one company growing because it's going to be quite hard at the front there or at the top all by themselves. So you'll burn out too quickly, and then you won't have people in to replace when someone retires or leaves. So bring everyone with you on the journey. Let's do it together.
Share that knowledge and create equal opportunities.
Yeah.
I think is
Get rid of that
very much what we get
gatekeeping,
from
is
you.
what I said.
Gatekeeping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no gatekeeping. Put that. That's so 2022.
I think also the industry needs, and I've got 3 daughters, it needs role models like you two as well, like people that are getting on your soapbox and saying, look, we need to do something about this, because if we don't, like, there's also that you have loads of like imposter syndrome, and like where people want to say something but they're a bit afraid, and it takes role models to even get to that point. It's like you can create an initiative, but if no one wants to talk about it, it's like it doesn't go anywhere. So you need create it, but you also need to get out there like you're doing. You need to be public and vocal and be passionate and proud. Like, this is what we're doing. We're trying to change it, and it helps massively.
It's so true as well. Like, I have had to train myself. Honestly, the amount of times I caveat myself with, it might be a stupid idea. Honestly, I have to remove
I
that
think
from
we all
my
do that.
vocabulary
Yeah.
because it isn't exactly like you say to be this. I'm not. And Dame Dawn talks about that. I've seen so many events where she goes, it's not necessarily a natural fit for her to be this leader, but she knows she has to do it because it's so important for her to be this beacon for other females.
And I think so many people are introvert as well. Like I say,
Yeah.
I'm an introvert. Like people say, I'm as introvert as you can get. Like, I want to sit on my own in the corner in a nice quiet room. But if you don't do things like this, you never step outside that comfort zone. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get, and then it becomes a bit easier. And then you make an impact. And as soon as you make an impact, you're like, I want to do more of this,
Yeah.
but then someone else
Get the
will see
addiction
it.
of it.
Yeah, and it's like when I started the podcast, like other people ask me, I'd like to start a podcast. I'm like, just do it. Like, I knew nothing, just do it. If you don't do it, you'd just be thinking about it forever. And that's what they said about the startups.
Yeah, it's what Alex was saying yesterday. Like so many people kind of get caught up in this kind of just the idea of how do I get started. The most important thing you do is
Just do
take
it.
action.
You
Do
create
the work.
obstacles
Which is
rather than
100% with
solutions.
forward. It's just
Yeah.
you just went, no.
And talking to a lot of people in the industry, when you ask, a common question is, what advice would you give to new starters or people coming in? And so much of the feedback is just say yes.
Curiosity
someone
is
comes
like
with you,
I
yeah.
ask everyone on the pod that question pretty much, and unless I get bored and I just want to wrap it up. Curiosity is always probably the top answer. Like, people say, if you could give anyone any advice starting the industry, what would it be? Like, be curious. Like, get out there, ask questions. Go meet people. And I think curiosity is a massive undervalued attribute. Like, if you continuously curious, you're always learning, always developing, but you're also having conversations like this because you want to know why you did it. You don't just turn up and go, we've done this. You go, oh, cool, well done. You say, why did you do it?
Yeah. And I think it's not an accident that's why we're in this industry, right? We're building the future. We have to predict it almost. So it's not an accident that this industry attracts people who are curious.
Exactly.
And leading on from what you said, you need people, the other side of that, people who are there to embrace that curiosity and answer that curiosity. When I joined, I started on a construction project. It was my first ever data center, and I was lucky enough to come on at Reba 3. I'm like, what's this? What's that? And but there are people there to answer that for me. And my contractor has taken the time to walk me around site and explain this and explain that. And it's having people, it's having the curious people, obviously, but it's having the people who are there to answer that curiosity, and that's a big thing that needs to stay or even get bigger and larger. And
No, it's
done
a
more.
really good point. And I think, again, like, that's why you highlight role models, isn't it? Because it's like, look, these people are those people. Ask them a question. Like, they will answer you. Don't be afraid to go and tap them on the shoulder or drop them an email. They will help you, but you do have to ask.
Yeah. And just building the awareness that it is supportive and it is there and you can do that.
So many people are afraid to do that.
Yeah,
I think they're going to look bad just by asking a question. What was it Alex said yesterday? Like, no question is a stupid question. Don't worry about it. Just ask away.
I've definitely asked some stupid questions on the podcast.
Yeah. It's important.
Caveat.
No one learns anything. If you don't ask, you don't learn. Simple as that.
No, and I find that, but with technical people, and I don't know how technical you both are, but I'm not technical at all. And when I'm talking to people about GPUs and engineering, it's like they're talking another language. But I'm quite happy to say, look, I really don't understand what you're talking. Can you explain it, like dumb it down for me?
Yeah,
And then
100%.
they love doing that because they're like,
Yeah.
right, think of something like this, and it's
Yeah.
like that, and you're like, oh, it makes sense now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm severely dyslexic, and it was actually one of my questions that Adam, my line manager, asked me. So, what's your negative? And I said, well, I'm severely dyslexic. I mean, I cannot spell. But because of that, I'm not afraid. I always feel like the thickest person in the room. So I'm really not afraid of being the thickest person in the room. But because of that, because I'm inquisitive, because I'm curious, I learn so much more because I've shedded that fear, really.
And Adam probably responds with a fish analogy. Oh,
Or
please.
a war, or sort of World War II. Yeah, there is 2 faves.
Shout out to Adam.
He is, yeah.
So we're almost at time. Coming back to the event, and what's your biggest takeaway? Having been involved with the launch yesterday, been at the centre of kind of women in digital infrastructure
Literally the
throughout
centre,
Datacloud.
the centre
Yeah.
spread.
He's open to the middle page. Read
Yeah.
first.
Well, genuinely, what's your big takeaway from Datacloud? What's the one big positive for you guys?
I've just found this whole experience so positive. I came last year and it was a bit of a learning curve for me, and I was sort of tagging along and introducing and meeting people. And this year I've been able to be like, met you last year, and I'm continuing it, so it's really great. But what I've seen this year and what I'm so happy about is people talking about their female juniors, and they're coming because I'm doing the critical careers and I'm doing forum for women in data centers. They're talking to me about their female employees, and the pattern is they're so amazed with what they're doing. When people have transferred into the industry, they're like, oh, my someone I met, she used to be a teacher, wasn't really getting fulfillment out of it. She's ended up being a sort of sustainability person for this company, and she is running with it. She's now doing like health and safety qualifications, and it's what I'm hearing is these opportunities are being given, and these women are just going the distance with it, and everyone is not shocked or surprised. They think you know what they're capable of, but they're just so happy to talk about it and brag about it, and I love that. That's been such a high for me.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's just feeling. We've talked about it so many times, but that community and we're like catching up and going, we're actually doing this.
Yeah.
We're doing it, and we're doing it well.
You need to check in, don't you?
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
No, and also well done for doing it.
Thank you.
Because
Yeah.
it is important.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why you need platforms to, you will encourage other females to come into this industry.
Yeah,
But-
we're speaking to it. So just to add on to that, it's like a chain letter. Do you remember those old school chain letters you used to get when you were at school? And you were like, send it on to 10 people. That's what we want critical careers. Nominate 10 women. Come forward. We're going digital. Yeah. We
You
need
wanted to ignite a fire.
100%.
Love it.
Let's do it.
Concerned about the emails I'm going to get from you now.
No.
Pass on to 10 people. Don't ask questions. I'm not recruiting you to a cult, or am I?
It's a pyramid scheme.
Well, guys, thank you so much. This
Thank
has been
you.
absolutely phenomenal.
Brilliant.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you very much
Thank you
for having
very
us.
much.
Cheers.
Pleasure.